Hey folks, joining Local Survival. So I'm going to talk about the EDC, or everyday carry, that everyone should at least consider bringing with them every single time they leave the house. Stick around. Alright folks, so to be fair to this video, let's talk about the context behind EDC, everyday carry. What is that exactly? Because that term means a lot of different things to a lot of different folks, because even here in the United States, what I can carry might be different from another state depending on the local and state laws. So in general, what I'm going to cover is what you carry on your person in your pockets that are allowed to legally, right? Not like some kind of man purse I have hanging up on the tree over there, but just on your person, okay? This is your level 1, let's call it. Level 1 EDC, okay? Now, moving on from there, the categories we can cover are the 5 C's survivability, communications, medical, self-defense, and a little bit of extra gadgets that make my everyday life easier. So let's start with the 5 C's survivability, which, those who don't know, that is a containing device or container, cutting, cordage, combustion, and cover, right? So let's start with cover first because that's the most pertinent, especially in an environment like this where it's nice and cold. So cover is this. It's not some kind of tarp, it's not some kind of tent, it's not some kind of Mylar blanket that some Chinese kid folded up 1,000 times in a factory somewhere. No, it is your clothing. This is the first line defense against the elements and also lawsuits for indecent exposure. Don't be stupid. The thing is this, though. You have to think about, okay, what is my climate like? What is the season? What is the weather like in my area currently? Do I need shorts and a t-shirt, or do I need a winter coat and some extra layers on me? Duh, obvious, right? So what do I carry in this cold environment? Pretty simple. Wool beanie on top of my head, 100% wool, GUSGI. Have my nice rich cut winter coat, DWR all over it, so at least decently resistant against that sleety, nasty, haily rain that we have sometimes. But right now I'm more worried about the snow and the wind, and this coat does a fabulous job with that. Now, this is my wet and windy layer, as it's called. Warming layer is the sweatshirt underneath, okay? I've adjusted myself, I've acclimated to my environment, so a sweatshirt to me and a coat is just fine. But underneath that, I have a cool, dry t-shirt and a moisture-wicking underlayer. So basically, I call it the Army Silks, and that's what I had back when I was in the Army. Helps pull moisture away from your skin, leaving you dry, opposed to having the sweat accumulate on your body and then get your layers wet, and then also now you're in a hypothermic situation. So that's not good, but that's why I wear the silks and all this layer like this. Now, tip here, if you're in a cold environment, you want to wear loose layers, okay? Large, loose layers. Don't be super crazy about it, but just loose layers. Like this is an extra large jacket. Usually I wear large. I want an extra large because I like to layer, because layering is key. Not one big thick layer, layering is key. But what this does in a large sweatshirt, per se, okay, that creates trapped air pockets against your body. Your body heat warms up the air, creating a nice thermal layer for you to enjoy inside your microclimate of your clothes. So that's the top half. Now the bottom half, real quick for those who are curious, are these sexy pants here. Just kidding. These are Carhartt insulated duck canvas pants, work pants. They're really nice. I really like them. Pretty durable. Have the Army Silks underneath this, so technically I only have 2 layers per se, but this actually does a very decent job blocking out the wind. Now on my feet, I have my Kamek boots I've had for about 3 years now. Doing strong, doing great. Inside those, merino wool socks, and underneath the wool socks, what I'm standing on is a nice felt insole with a Mylar top. So the Mylar is against my foot, and it's keeping it warm. I can stay on the ice and snow all day, not a problem for me. So there's that, and along with that, I do have some nice insulated leather gloves. So, pretty protected against the elements with my cover system. Now, along with that, we're going to move on to the container system. What do I carry every day? Single layer stainless steel 1 liter. That's what I carry. Why? Because hydration is important. But more so, okay, say you're lost in the woods, along the roadside, you ran out of water, waiting for a tow truck or whatever. Okay, you see a body of water. You see cattails, you might see some frogs or something like that. Aquatic life, aquatic plants usually indicate, keyword there, that the water is okay. There's no chemicals in there, there's no poisons, nothing like that that's going to affect you. Now you can go over there, scoop the water in a wide mouth canteen like this, boil it. Okay, you're 99.9% safe that this water is going to be fine for you to drink all day long, every day. So that's why I carry that. cutting, pretty simple. Okay, I have a belt knife. This is the Bush one by Jeff White, convex grind. Really like this knife, does great. I like fixed blades over folders just because it's more durable, my humble opinion. Now, along with that, I do carry my brown pouch. Inside that brown pouch, I do have a Leatherman Super Tool 300. Why? Because this has a great backup option for knives, because there's 2 blades for that, plus a metal file, wood file, saw, screwdrivers, all so on and so forth. You guys can look it up on the website. It has like, I think 19 different tools or something like that to it. Pliers, whatever, right? So a great option for that. The other and last blade I have available to me, technical blade, is a little saw blade, and I'll get to that in a minute. So that's what I carry cutting wise on my person for my EDC. Moving on to the combustion phase. Now the combustion is a little different here. Do you have the Bic lighter, safety lock off, duct tape, so I have some extra little flame extension. See the flame? Okay, nice and healthy, because it's against my body, inside my pocket. I have an extra one, foolishly, inside this pouch. I usually do carry one in my right pocket, one in my left pocket, and one here. But as an example, this one's on the pouch on the outside. Little flame. That's because this is cold, so you kind of see that explanation of Bic lighters being cold in action there. But I carry 2 lighters with me. Along with that, I'll carry my ferrocene rod, 6-inch, with the striker attached to it. I can take that striker off if I want to and use it on the ferrocene rod, or I can use back of my knife, my saw blade, I can use a sharp rock, I can use a piece of glass. Whatever it has a sharp edge that's harder than this ferrocene rod will ignite the sparks. Just keep that in mind. And that will vary depending on the material you're using too. But along with that, I do have my magnifying glass and some jute twine. So magnifying glass and jute twine. Why this? Because in a way you want to layer your fire starting techniques. So if I can use the sun and some jute twine to help start a fire, okay, I'm going to do that. Preserves my ferrocene rod. If there's no sun like it is today, I can use my ferrocene rod and save my lighters. If I don't have my ferrocene rod and it's cloudy out, I can't use my magnifying glass, or I don't have it, okay, I can use my lighter, but I have 2. So there's the whole thing there. Now, speaking of the jute twine, that does double as cordage. I mostly use it as a fine tinder source because it's easier for me to carry some of this. This is about like 30 to 40 foot of jute twine. So a lot of cordage, a little bundle, but I can use this mainly as tinder because it's easier for me to go, oh, I need dry tinder. Right in my pocket, no problem. Now, speaking of tinder real quick, I do carry commercial made fat wood, or harvested I should say, fat wood. Little shavings, this is wet, dry, doesn't matter. Just wipe off the excess moisture. Okay, I've done I think a video or 2 on YouTube so far about having wet fat wood. Get that a little bit dry, shave it down, whatever, and then strike with a ferrocene rod or open flame from a lighter, and boom, it lights on fire. No problem, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So there's that, along with the other cordage I have in here. I have some bank line, number 36. My jute twine back in there. I have I believe this was a 16-foot hank of number 36 bank line, or tarred mariner's line, as it's called. And this is about a 10-foot right here as well. Now, this is more so I'm going to build a shelter or something like that, or just extra cordage. This is, I have an idea. I'm going to use that to help make tools from, say, a bow saw to, I can take this little saw blade here, find a 6 to 8 foot stick or whatever, branch, and then I can cut a slit in here, put the blade of it in there, and I can take the smaller hank of this, wrap it around tightly because it binds to itself really good. Or if you can find some barky wood, it really binds to that as well, bites into it great. I can make a pole saw or a longer saw to use that's easier to use for me. That's why I have this. Now, that's cordage and cover, container, combustion, cutting. The 5 C's are covered. I will say a few mentions in here, honorably. I have the Lansky's Pocket Diamond Sharpener. It's great for my saw. It also works great for my knives in a pinch. Not my first go-to, but it's pretty good. because sharp tools are safer than dull tools. So that's why I really like this little thing. Lightweight, fits in here, no problem. Can maintain my tools. Now, the other thing, tick key, sharp edges, so I can use this on a ferrous seam rod to strike it, no problem. Remove ticks, obviously. But the other thing is my survival whistle. Okay, I got a compass, the whistle body itself, thermometer, so I know I'm about to die from hypothermia, and this useless little magnifying glass, if I can get it out because I don't have thumbnails. There we go. This will not start a fire, so don't even try, guys. I mean, you can if it's like the last resort, but I have not been successful with that, and I've let it sit there for about 20 minutes plus, and nothing. So now the whistle is more effective at signaling for help or trying to get someone's attention opposed to yelling in the woods, because yelling only goes so far, and studies have proven that yelling uses more calories and hydration opposed to blowing into a peeless whistle. So listen here, it's going to be loud. So that's going to travel a lot farther than me yelling in the woods for help. Plus, it's going to, you can blow on a whistle far longer than you can sit there and yell, because you become tired over time yelling opposed to this. Now, you want a peeless whistle because a peed whistle can actually sit there and freeze up on you because your hot breath, moisture gets into the little slot of the whistle and hits the pea and it can get frozen in place. It's just a whole thing where a peeless whistle, you don't have to worry about that. So, take that with a grain of salt and do what you want with that information. Now, let's talk about communication real quick. Let me close this all up. Well, I guess we'll talk while I do this. So communication, my primary communication is what I'm talking to right now, which is my cell phone, which is the vast majority of what people use to communicate every single day. I don't carry a radio with me on my person every single day just because my life doesn't really call for it. I will if I travel someplace, or I guess really, for an example, you might carry one every single day if you ride on the trails a lot, or you go back in the woods and it's part of your job or something like that. Sure, absolutely then. But the average person, probably not going to carry a radio. However, in all preparedness sections, remember PACE, primary, alternative, contingency, emergency, okay? And that can be to medical, to firearms, to tools, to whatever, right? Okay, just remember PACE, and that does work for communication systems as well. Now, from communications, we're going to talk about medical, which is kind of my jam, because I work in healthcare. So, medical, right down here, my kangaroo pouch, I call it, my sweatshirt, I have a cat tourniquet, all nice and good to go. Quick deploy, I can sit there, put on, use it one hand, useful skill to know, set these up so they're rapid deploy or quick deploy, and they're not all new and bunched up and not used to being stretched out. Get it out, work it a bit, train with it a little bit, not a whole lot, especially if it's the one you're going to use because you can wear it out, but just get the one you're going to use, get it moving, get it broken up, you know, get it broken. Now, inside my coat here, this little pocket right here, I have an extra cat tourniquet. Same thing, quick deploy, awesome, good to go there. On this, I have a hyphen vent chest seal. It's a twin pack, meaning there is a seal for the front and a seal for the back, because bullets go in, and generally bullets come out somewhere in the body. Now, along with that, everybody who's savvy already knows you can use the outside packaging, the inside packaging, or wrapping, whatever you want to call it, to sit there and actually use that as makeshift chest seals. However, with that, you need to carry something sticky like Gorilla Tape, right? Gorilla Tape is multi-use up the wazoo, 1,001 things you can do with duct tape. From fire extension, to medical, to repairing something, to binding something, whatever, right? Number of uses you can for that. Now, for bleed control, what I have is this fancy-dancy, high-speed, awesome product I was excited to show you guys. So it's right here in my pocket, a Ziploc baggie. Why? Because I'm in the market for an actual good belt system to throw either on my belt or into my pocket, but I can't find one I like. So this is kind of what I'm rocking right now. Ziploc bag has your gauze pads, gauze rolls, ace wraps, gloves, kind of the works right here. Now, why do I also have this in the Ziploc bag? Because one, I don't want to sit there and fumble going, oh, I need a gauze pad, and I keep pulling out gauze rolls or whatever. No, it's all nice, tight in one thing, and pull out a big bunch. It's right here in the front of my left pocket of my coat. Okay, cool, awesome, no big deal. But also along with that, it does protect against the weather. Why? Because I learned very early on that, hey, when I go in the woods with my med kit, no matter what kind of commercial backpack I get, I'm not talking Specialized, I'm not talking DWR, which most products are nowadays, covered in DWR. Well, if they're worth their salt. If they're worth their salt. But if not, then that backpack, that bag, whatever you want to call it, is going to get wet, okay? Whether it's raining and you're walking through the forest or open field, whatever, or it's that wet snow, it's eventually going to soak into the material of the backpack and get everything inside wet, including your medical supplies, if they're not inside some kind of waterproof bag, such as the Ziploc bag. The Ziploc bag itself is also multifunctional. I can carry extra water if I had to. I can melt snow in it against my body. I can sit there and, in the summertime, collect vegetation, put it around that, collect the dew from that, whatever. It's multi-use, container of all sorts. Now, that is medical. Now, moving on to self-defense. First things first, non-lethal, because if I can get away from somebody and not have to use my lethal resources, I'm going to. So, first things first, I have a ProTac 1L something Streamlight flashlight. I don't know. Got high-vis tape on it, guys. That way, if I do drop it on the ground and it's dark light conditions, I can find it relatively easy with the orange tape on here. It's kind of nice because it does got a high beam, strobe, and a low beam. Pretty cool. It does take 3 types of batteries, though. That's why I carry it, because it can take a CR123, AA, and can take AAA. Now, besides this, plus in a self-defense situation, I can illuminate and see what I want to see without having to pull my pistol out and point my pistol at it, because I don't got to light my pistol. But along with the flashlight, I do carry 2 extra batteries in my pocket so they stay warm and the cold doesn't sap them life out of them. Now, self-defense wise, okay, I carry an SR40. Bluing's kind of wearing off. Why? Because I want to talk about this a little bit. If you carry a firearm or own a firearm for self-defense, hunting, whatever, okay, it is your due diligence, it is your duty to sit there. Hold on, my alarm's going off. It is your due diligence, it is your duty to sit there and become proficient with your firearm. That way you're not spraying and praying in a situation, especially if it's a self-defense situation and there's a crowd around you. You want to be practiced, cool-headed, and logical. That way you can sit there, take your time, aim, and do your thing to get rid of the threat, right, to you and others around you, without causing collateral damage, at least as little as possible. So that's why that's all worn out, because I sit there and practice all the time like I believe everybody should with firearms. Now, along with that, I have 1 magazine in there, 15 rounds. I carry 2 spare magazines, 15 rounds each. So this is 165 grain hollow point. Why do I like the 165 grain rather than 180? I shoot 165 better, so that's it. Now, oh, here comes the feds. They're coming to get me. I knew it. No, it's probably a med flight, actually. Anyways, back to this, though. Oh, I want to pause this. Life flight, that's not good. Anyways, so that's pretty much an EDC system that I carry every single day, guys. And it does have its practical uses and our emergency uses as well. And I encourage you guys to sit there, again, think strategically of like, okay, I might face this threat in my environment, whether it's urban, suburban, rural, whatever it is, I need to dress like this because it is whatever weather outside or season. But also I'd like to point out this too. You don't want to look like Batman. You want to kind of practice the gray man approach. Pay attention to what other people in your area are wearing all the time, right? Okay, you just want to blend into the population. You don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. Because again, in an emergency situation where, Yahweh forbid, but maybe it's like a terrorist attack, and you're all kitted out, whatnot, probably will target you first because they're like, hey, that person's armed. That's why I concealed carry. But anyways, getting off track here. As you guys, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. And always, stay frosty, prep up. God bless.